This lighting is a bit harsh, but I'm like a cat. I just like to sit where the sun hits, and I'm wearing a really thick layer, even though it's not nearly as cold as it does get. But hello, welcome back to my channel. And this is getting a little awkward and reluctant for me because I feel like I've forgotten how to talk to a camera, and I've basically had a lot of filming anxiety. So let's start with why I haven't been making videos, and I possibly couldn't tell you why. Like, I just fell off Booktube. I kind of lost interest in the community for a while. I stopped watching it. I stopped reading books as much as I used to because I think I was just in a completely different headspace. Not a bad one. Like, I really enjoyed my year. I traveled a lot and I've done really fun things, but I didn't really feel like making videos. And over the past couple of weeks, I've been watching some of my favorite booktubers and people who don't even make videos anymore, but I really loved them when they did. And then I kind of decided that I missed the community and I really wanted to come back and make videos. So that has basically been my year. It's been a good year, but I haven't been on Booktube. And when I decided to come back, I've had so much filming anxiety that it's just weird, because I'm generally someone who is prone to anxiety. Like, I do think a lot about things and I plan a lot. But Booktube was always my happy place in the sense that I never prepared too much. I always looked how I looked. I didn't really care about like the aesthetic sense of it or how perfect my makeup is, because I'm not wearing any right now. But my Booktube was my safe space. And coming back to filming made me think that, oh, really, I need to make an effort, because like I've been watching everyone else's videos and they look so perfect and their shelves are lined up and, you know, they look great, and maybe I should wait a couple of weeks before I look that good. But I don't think anything would have changed with me even if I had waited. Like, my skin might have cleared, but it's skin and it is what it is. So that's been one of the things that's been kind of holding me back from being back on Booktube, because it's just that I didn't really feel comfortable talking to myself, because I kind of thought that I maybe needed to make a different kind of effort. And then I realized YouTube is my happy place and I will always be who I am on here, just as I am, right? Like, I don't need to make any special efforts with that. But another challenge with filming has been because the content on YouTube is evolving so much, and there's a lot of tea channels, and I don't mean to offend anyone, because like tea or gossip channels are fun to watch, and they're there. The people doing them are like, you know, doing a service to the community by talking about certain things. But it's just never been my brand of Booktube, because I don't really care about gossip, like too much gossip. This is one of the reasons that I left book Twitter, because I think every day you would wake up and you kind of had someone saying something, or some author said something, and it's just that, like, while some of those issues are valid, I just didn't like that kind of noise, because I was always here to read books and, you know, discuss them, and I never wanted to be involved in community drama, and booktubers are generally at each other's throats, and it's just like, for me, I do what I do and then I move on to the next video. So I kind of got like a little discouraged by all this like tea content, because I was like, maybe that's what I need to do, but I'm not really a gossipy person, so how does one do that? And then that was another holdback where I was like, no, I don't need to do any of that. I need to do what I need to do. So those are the things that have to do with filming. But my reading year hasn't been too great either, which is perfectly fine. Like, I'm perfectly happy with not having 50 books a year, which was something that I read last year. Like, last year I read 50 books. This year I haven't even made it to 20, and I'm perfectly okay with that, because it was a different kind of a year for me, like a good one, a happy one. I got married in January, and more than anything, it's been such a mental switch from going to a single person and thinking like a married person. And there's a lot of mental changes that you kind of have to experience and go through. But that kind of mental change is something that I needed to process, and I just wanted to be in that headspace where I was adjusting to things. And I'm glad that I took the year off in terms of reading, even though I didn't completely stop reading, because one of the really awesome things that happened this year was that my husband and I started buddy reading books that I would be interested in, generally really feminist books, and I would be talking about them, describing them, and my husband would be like, wait, is this something I would be interested in? And I would be like, maybe. And then we would start buddy reading it, and then it would be something that we really liked and we really enjoyed. And I think that's been a really good thing. But I think another one of those reasons is that last year I read, I don't know how many Pakistani books, like 30, maybe 20 to 30 books, and it was not a good time. Like Bapsi Sudhwa, yes, I'm glad that I read her entire book, and I'm glad that I discovered her writing, and that was the, I don't know, the pinnacle of my reading year. But everything else was trash. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. because I know what a good book is, and I've been gaslit by authors into thinking that I don't know what I'm talking about because I've never written a book. And there were so many of those debates when I would post a review, and on 3 different occasions I've been contacted by the authors, either explaining themselves or telling me I'm wrong or asking me if I'd ever written anything worth reading and how dare I criticize, and basically just a lot of that talk. And that kind of basically put me off reading for a fairly long time, because I was like, well, I just don't want to deal with authors anymore. Like, I would love to explore more of Pakistani literature, but the authors have a lot of attitude. They're not open to criticism. And every time, yes, while I criticize book and I'm slightly mean about the books, I've never criticized an author or their looks or their, their personalities, but they don't really know how to conduct themselves. And right now, I'll go as far to say that they do not have the skills to back up their egos. Like, they think they know what they're doing. They think they're really good writers. But to be honest, they lack the basic capacity of engaging a reader like me. They basically think that they're smarter than everyone else. And that attitude has really, really held me back in terms of like looking for more Pakistani books to read, because I find it exhausting to deal with someone's ego and them contacting me on Instagram and just like sending me messages, because it's been exhausting. These authors have known to block negative reviews or 1-star reviews or critical reviews, but I don't think you can grow if you're a writer and you block all kind of like reviews, all kind of negative or critical reviews, because that's not how you're going to improve your skill. And I'm all about like helping give feedback. Even if it's a 1-star book, I always have constructive criticism to give. And then like authors telling you that you're basically jealous of their writing, and it's like, are you 4 years old? Like, you're so immature. So this is the reason that even though I've been wanting to read like a few Pakistani books, I've been staying away, because I know how the authors behave, and it's just that something I have to come to terms with, that the relationship between me and Pakistani literature is probably over for good, unless like I read a book and I stay quiet about it, which is not what I want to do, because that's not the point of reading for me. For me, it's about sharing and reviewing, things like that. But anyhow, those are all the things that were happening to me filming wise and reading slump wise. And I'm excited to be back on Booktube, because I've been wanting to make this video for a little while, and I'm really looking forward to reading more books, even though it's already like the middle of November and my Goodreads goal was at 25. I'm at 16, but like I'll be happy with whatever I finish, because I'm not chasing a number. At least I'm not chasing a number this year. Next year we will see how everything goes. So yeah, like I'm excited about nonfiction November. So yeah, for nonfiction November, I only have one book on my TBR. It's called Rebel Music by Hisham D. Aidi, Race, Empire, and the New Muslim Youth Culture. And this is a book that I've had for a couple of years, or maybe I bought it last year, because I really, really enjoy reading about music. And this is basically how music plays a role in Muslim culture, and how it's tied to religion and culture and politics. And again, this sounds like really, really interesting, but one of the things that's kind of like holding me back from really getting into it, that it sounds very academic. It has a very small font, there's a lot of pages, but I've read reviews and it says that while it is slightly academic in terms of its writing, it's also like an absolute treasure. I'm probably going to start making vlogs again, because vlogs are easy for me. I really enjoy them. I have a lot of footage from my travels earlier this year that I haven't used, and I don't know what to do with them. So of course they'll find their way into a blog. And by the end of the year, I'll try to do like my favorite books of 2021. And it's kind of hard to believe how 2021 is already ending. Like, this past year for me has been a blur. But I'm going to end this video here. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.